right, so we're going to do the surface area prisms practice problems. So if you remember in class, we made some nets. So this is a rectangular prism. So the simple net was to just kind of draw 3 rectangles. So we have an 11 by 5. So I'm going to call this 5. We're going to call that 11. And then we have an 11 by 6. So 11 by 6. And then over on the right-hand side there, we have a 5 by 6. All right, so 11 times 5 is 55. 11 times 6 is 66. And 6 times 5 is 30. And then we have 2 of each of them. So 55 times 2 is 110. 66 times 2, let's see, 12 is 132, and 30 times 2 is 60, so we're going to add these up, and that's going to give us a total of 302 centimeters squared. All right, for the next one, and once again, it is a rectangular prism. So I'm going to do this one a little bit different. If you remember, we talked about doing length, width, and height. Well, if we call the length 10, the width 17, and the height 4, remember we can do 10 times 17, which would be 170. Then we can do 10 times 4, which is going to be 40. And then we can do 17 times 4, which I'll need my calculator for. 17 times 4 is 68. And remember, there are 2 of each of these, so 170 times 2 is 340. 40 times 2 is 80. 68 times 2 is 136. And then when we add all of these together, let's see what we get. 340. We get 556, and it's going to be centimeters squared once again. All right, for this one, we'll go back and we'll draw it again. So it looks like the base is a square. So we have a 4 by 4. And then that means that all the other sides are going to be 4 by 8. And we can draw them. So this would be the front 4 by 8, and then this would be the side 4 by 8. And remember, we have 2 of each of these, so 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 8 is 32, 4 times 8 is 32 again. So 16 times 2 is 32, 32 times 2 is 64, and 32 times 2 is 64, because remember there are 2 of each of those rectangles. So we have 32 plus 64 plus 64, which gives us a surface area of 160. We're not given a unit, so we're just going to call it units squared. All right, for this one, looks like we've got a square on the end there, 12 by 12. And then we have a 22. Let's go back and do it the other way. So we have length, width, and we have height. So we're going to call that 12, 12, and 22. Remember, we're going to multiply the length times the width. So that's going to give us 144. Then the length times the height. So 12 times 22 is 264. And then 12 times 22 again is going to give me 264. Remember, there are 2 of each of these, so 144 times 2 is 288. 264 times 2 is 528. And then we have 528 once again. And if we add those all up, let's see what we get. Plus 288. We get 1,344, and it will be inches, and it's not going to let me write. Inches squared. Okay, so it's 1,344 inches squared. All right, so that takes care of the rectangular prism. So now let's move on to the triangular prisms. If you remember the quick little net that we made, we took the triangle. So I'm going to draw the triangle. So this is a right triangle. So let's draw a right triangle. And we have 6 and 8 here. And then off of that, we are going to draw our rectangles. Let's try that again. Let's start this all over again. Give us a little bit more space here. All right. So here is my right triangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle off of each of the sides of the triangle. And then I'm going to remember there is an extra right triangle, which is the top or the bottom, whichever way you want to think about it. So our triangle has a 6 and an 8. So that means this is 6, this is 8. And then we need this side right here on the triangle, so that's 10. The height of the prism is 12, so that means all of these measurements on the rectangles are 12s. So to find the area of a triangle, we do 1/2 base times height. So we're going to do 1/2 times 8 times 6. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Okay, so that's 1. Then we have another 24 in here. Okay, then we have 10 times 12, so that's 120 right here. We have 8 times 12, which is 96 in here. And then we have 6 times 12, which is 72 in here. All right, so now we're just going to take all those numbers that I circled there, because that's the area of all the pieces, and we're going to add them up. So we got 24 plus 24 plus 120 plus 96 plus 72. And that gives us a surface area of 336 units squared. All right, for the next one, it looks like we have a triangular prism again. This time, it looks like we have an equilateral triangle. So we have 8, and it has a height of 3. So I'm going to draw the rectangles off of each of the sides of the triangle. So each of these are going to be 8. So this is 8, this is 8, this is 8. And then the height is going to be 12 for each of them. And we have another triangle for the base. So we have 8 and we have 3 right here. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So 1/2 times 8 times 3. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So we've got a 12 there. We have a 12 inside. I'm going to write it over here for the other triangle. So that takes care of the bases. And then because this is an equilateral triangle, all these other rectangles are the same. So 8 times 12 is 96. So we have 96 here, 96 here, and 96 here. So 96 times 3 plus 12 and 12 is going to give us a surface area of 312, and this is going to be centimeters squared. So that's our answers for those two. All right, looks like we're running out of some room, so I'm going to do a little bit of erasing here. Give me some more room. So let's erase this. There's probably an easier way to do this. All right, so now we got a little bit more room for this one. Okay, so once again, we have a triangular prism. So I'm going to draw the triangle. See, the right angle's right there. There's the triangle. We know this side is 20. We know this side is 12. And we are told this side is 16. Let me make sure I got my numbers right. 20, 16, and 12. Yep. And we're going to draw the rectangles off of each of the sides. And the height of the prism is 9, so each of these sides is 9. So let's find the area of the triangle to begin with. So here's my triangle, and it has a base of 12 and a height of 16. So half of 16 is 8. 8 times 12 is 96. Is that right? 8 times 12. Yep, 96. Okay, so we have a 96 here. Then we have 20 times 9, which is going to be 180. Then we have 16 times 9, which is going to be 144. And then we have 9 times 12, which is going to be 108. So then we're going to add 108 plus 96 plus 180 plus 144 plus, what was the triangle? 96 plus 96. So that gives us a surface area of 720 centimeters squared. So that is our surface area of that prism. All right, for the next one, we're going to do the same thing once again. So we are starting out with a triangular prism. So we're going to draw the triangle. We told that this is 9, this is 4.5, this is 7.2. We're going to draw the rectangles off of it. The height is 8.1, so that means all of these sides are 8.1. The triangle, we have a height of 4 right here. So the area of the triangle is going to be 1/2 9 times 4. So half of 4 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. And remember, there are 2 triangles. So the other triangle is over here. So now we're going to do the area of each of the rectangles. So we have, where did I get 8.1 times 9 is going to give me 72.9. And then 8.1 times 7.2 is going to give me 58.32. And then we have 8.1 times 4.5. That's going to give us 36.45. So now I'm going to add up all those sides. So I've got 36.45 plus 58.32 plus 72.9 plus 18 plus the other triangle is 18. So that gives me a surface area of, let me write it over here, 203.67 centimeters squared. All right, so it looks like I've totally run out of room for the last problem. So let me erase. I wonder if there's an easy way to erase. There probably is, and I don't know what it is. So let's just go back to the way I know. So let's erase this and make some room. You probably think I'm crazy. I know there's an easier way, I just don't know what it is. All right, so let's turn that off and push this up a little bit. Maybe I got a little bit of room, not really. All right, so for the last one, once again, we have a triangular prism. So I'm going to start out by drawing my little triangle here. My goodness, that's a little triangle. So we've got, looks like we've got, oh, looks like it's an equilateral triangle because all the sides are 3. That'll make it a little bit easier. So that means all my rectangles are exactly the same. The height of the prism is over here on this side right here, so that would be 10. And then my triangle has a base of 3 and it has a height of 2.5. All right, so let's do our triangle first. So we're going to do 1/2 times 3 times 2.5. So let's try that on the calculator. I can't do that in my head. Times 3 times 2.5. So that gives me a area of 3.75 for the triangle. So let me draw my other base over here and put 3.75 in there. And then I have 3.75 again for the one I don't have room to write it inside the other triangle. And then each of these is going to have an area of 30. Because 10 times 3 is 30. So now I'm going to add up all those numbers I've circled. So 30, 60, 90 plus 3.75 plus 3.75. That is going to give me a surface area of 97.5 centimeters squared. So I hope that's not too messy, that you don't understand it. If you have issues, please let me know. And you have a great evening.